walk through the steps that I'd suggest you go through to find these. Okay, so the first thing is to identify the values of A, B, and C. Right, so when we look at this, what is our coefficient in front of the x squared? Coefficient is -1, so that's our A value. What's our B value? +4, and our C value, -3. Okay, so there's the first step. Okay, once you get this, what you can then do is look to find the vertex. And we'll start by finding the x-coordinate of the vertex. And so once again, remember the way that we would find that is we're going to use -b over 2a. So if we plug in the values that we have for that, our b value was a 4, our a value is a -1, signs cancel, we get 4 over 2, and so we wind up with our x-coordinate of 2. So I can write that. I know my x-coordinate is going to be 2 for my vertex. Now once you get this, we can kind of jump away from the vertex for just a minute, because the next thing that we have actually all the information that we need for is to identify the axis of symmetry. Okay, so the axis of symmetry is always of an equation of a vertical line. It's always going to start with x equals, and then it's just going to be whatever this value for the x-coordinate of the vertex is. So in this case, x equals 2. So here my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. And once I get that done, I can go ahead and go back to my vertex and find the y-coordinate of the vertex. And once again, the way to do that is to take our function and evaluate it for whatever we found our y or the x-coordinate to be. So if we plug our x-coordinate, in this case f of 2, back into our equation, every variable in the equation is just a placeholder. So f of 2 is equal to a -2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus a 3. So if you simplify this, 2 squared is 4 times a negative. It gives us a -4 plus 8 minus 3. And when we combine all our terms, the negatives are -7 and a +8 nets you a +1. So our y-coordinate for our vertex is going to be a 1. So I can plot this point, 2, 1. And now, is my graph opening up or down in this case? Okay, when you look at your a value, if a is less than 0, if it's a negative number, graph opens down. And if a is a positive number, then the graph is going to open up. So the a value is negative, so it's going to open down. And again, what that allows you or kind of encourages you to do is I'm going to label my vertex 2, 1 above the point. That's just going to reinforce that my graph's not opening up, otherwise it would be in the way. So this emphasizes that my graph is going to open down. All right, the next step is to find the y-intercept. Again, these steps don't have to go in this particular order because this is also a pretty easy step. And the y-intercept is simply going to be the point where x is 0. And it's always going to have, the y-intercept will always be just the constant. It's going to be the c value. So in this case, my c value is -3. So this will always be the point 0, c. So I can fill that in. I can also plot this point if you're asked to sketch it. Okay, now, if I look at my graph, depending what other questions I have. So here I have to determine whether I'm dealing with a maximum or minimum value. Okay, so if my graph is opening down, I can sketch what my graph looks like from the vertex, passes through this y-axis, or the y-intercept, and then it's going to be mirror image across this line of x equals 2. So what I can do is I can reflect this graph across here, and I have the same graph going down in the other side of that mirror image, that axis of symmetry. So is my vertex now a maximum point or a minimum point? Again, if a is less than 0, it's a maximum point. If a is greater than 0, it's a minimum point. So if it opens up, it's a minimum point. If it opens down, it's a maximum point. Okay, so here, if I want to determine my vertex is a maximum point. Okay, and that's, I think, all that you would need to find for something like this. All right, if I had to identify the other kind of additional information that you might need to identify is there a reflection? Is there a negative in front of this? Yes. Hey, you may also be asked to identify x-intercepts. That'll probably come a little bit later. We'll talk about that here in one of the later sections of this chapter. But you might have to be able to find x-intercepts at some point. Okay, and let's see, the other things that you might need to know is shrink or stretch. And this has to do with the a value as well. If the leading coefficient is a value greater than 1, it's going to stretch it. If it's a value less than 1, it's going to shrink it. And if it's just a coefficient of 1, again, disregarding the sign, it would be, in this case, neither. We're dealing with a -1, so there's neither shrinking nor stretching going on for this.